Luke Waring, artist, London, UK. I started to get interested in yoga a few years ago and was lucky to have stumbled upon a great study as my first introduction into asana. Since moving to London, in the last year I have struggled to find even one studio or teacher who has really felt totally genuine, combining the asanas with something deeper. I met Neil by accident during my travels in India and was fascinated by his knowledge of Sanskrit and traditional yoga philosophy and history. I met him again in London when he was visiting, and he came to my house and very kindly offered me and my mother a few free classes. They were the most simple poses I had ever done, but after doing them for a week, the transformation and progression of my body was something I had never experienced before in such a short time. From then I was both hooked and fascinated. I have just completed Neil's 100-hour teacher training course and am starting to understand the system behind his apparent madness. Neil has not just taught me asanas or techniques, but has given me a solid philosophy of how to approach yoga and yoga teaching. The philosophy of Neil's authentic yoga system transcends any particular yoga pose or style of teaching, and is a tool I can use to organically understand any pose and teach it from a place of holistic understanding. During the course, Neil guided me as a person as well as me as a teacher. His commitment to the individual is certainly a major factor that separated his teachings from any other. Neil is a kind and patient man who strives to understand rather than judge, may it be a situation or a person. I am very honored to have found a teacher like Neil who has such a genuine love and understanding of yoga and teaching. Coming away from the course even after just 2 weeks, I feel I have come away with a philosophy which serves as a strong foundation to tackle any pose, class, or life event. Thank you. Thomas Baldi, yoga teacher, Arezzo, Italy. I am very happy to have had the opportunity to do, for now, the training of 200 hours with Neil Kulkarni. His courses are interesting and unconventional. We understand immediately that Neil is a particular person, very intelligent, and his knowledge of the subject is not common. Neil is able to convey the true essence of yoga, but helping the student to exhibit the practical and philosophical tradition within the contemporary everyday. I highly recommend this training to all students of yoga who want to get in touch with traditional knowledge and who are interested in integrating it all inside, both as practitioner and as teacher. The first meeting with Neil was a shock. We quickly realized that the case of a person at a higher level. Neil is able to convey his knowledge in a manner unusual for the Western world. It requires commitment and seriousness in the application of its guidelines. Follow the student step by step during training and ensure that the tasks assigned individually according to personal needs are completed. It's very challenging, but in the end the results pay off generously. Be changed, more focused, more healthy and excited for their work is the least that can happen in training with Neil Kulkarni. Highly recommended to all. Laura Gallerini, yoga teacher, Florence, Italy. The teacher training with Neil Kulkarni is an experience that I recommend to anyone who believes they have a mental flexibility, so as to accept a teaching method that needs total confidence in the teacher. The results come as unexpectedly epiphanies throughout the course. Knowledge of Neil about every topic is extremely broad. The only drawback is the time limit to be respected. Personally, I feel that every teaching of Neil is advice applicable to every field of life. Referring to the practice of yoga, Neil speaks of discipline, continuity, and focus. If we applied these tips every day in various everyday situations, surely we will see shocking radical changes. Neil provides the tools to create their own individual practice and their lessons. His teachings are never ends in themselves, they always aim at something broader. I believe that the course of Neil is a changing experience in depth, if you are ready to accept change. Michela Miazzini, Italy. Since I met yoga, I had felt that was my way. After attending some classes for years, I decided to become a yoga teacher. I started this walk with Neil Kulkarni's teacher training program. The training started in a magical place in Tuscany, Italy. Then I followed Neil to India where, under his guidance, I learned deeper cultural and philosophical aspects of yoga, directly in the original land of yoga. It was a deep and fascinating experience. With the Hatha Yoga system developed by Neil Kulkarni, I was blown away but excited at the same time. It is a methodology that teaches to teach. In short time, I found myself driving a yoga class whereas I was feeling I did not have the knowledge to do so. This to me has served to discover and bring out my potential. This training gave me the confidence to proceed on my intended path. Neil, thank you for this fantastic experience of training and life. January 2015 Michaela Miazzini, India. Sandra Lopez Cabrera, Uruguay, South America. In December 2014, I felt an overwhelming need to visit India to do yoga teacher training. I wrote to some yoga schools stating that I knew very little English. I received immediate response from Neil, which was translated into Spanish by his student, and contained all the necessary information. He asked me not to worry as he would arrange his other students from Europe to translate English into Spanish for me. I was inquiring at other schools, and nowhere I was offered such opportunity. We decided the dates of training and Neil also arranged accommodation for me. The training was not easy, but it was very effective. It expected much discipline, allowing focus on yoga. I do not think I would have learned everything I did otherwise. The methodology is extremely good, which makes you learn through experience, feel every exercise from within, and repeat things many times. Now, I realize that is the only way to teach properly. I had many moments of frustration due to language, missing my family, demanding routine, much homework, practice, and apprehension due to not knowing the language fluently. Sometimes I had feeling of having missed some things, especially philosophy of yoga. But I think it was only a feeling. I learned that one learns to perfection what one wants to learn, nothing else. Practical classes with Neil's friends were extremely useful. Every day I was noticing an improvement. This is the only way to achieve security and confidence in teaching. I had lots of teaching practice and opportunity. To understand more about the culture of India, we visited many temples. At the moment I arrived in India, Neil took me first to a temple at 6 a.m. which I felt like a welcoming ceremony. He showed me many temples with a wide variety. He also took me to cultural programs such as music and Vedic ceremonies. If we set a goal, there is nothing to limit the achievement. Language was not a barrier. Only the mind can create obstacles. This seems to be a beginning of a great journey. As Neil says in his book, Adh Yoga Copyright Authentic Yoga System of Neil Kulkarni, AYS practice gives us the way to get good health, physical, mental and spiritual necessary to reach the individual goal of the person who practices it. I had the opportunity to meet wonderful people, mingle with them without feeling outsider, but live as one of them, and this was really rewarding. Thanks to Neil for sharing such experience, for being so patient, and for having me in this blessed country of such wonderful people. Namaste. Sandra Edith Lopez Cabrera, Uruguay, Pune, February 2015. Isaura Maglio, Italy. I came to know Neil Kulkarni, thanks to a close friend of mine who met him once in Italy. I started talking to him on the Facebook about my trip to India and my yoga path. He was really kind and nice to share with me all the information I needed. At that time I had already booked my yoga teacher training course in a different place in India, so I was planning to go and visit him only for some yoga classes. Once I was in India after my TTC, I started having a feeling that I wasn't ready enough to teach yoga, and something was missing during my study. I decided to contact Neil to share my feeling with him and go to meet him and try some his yoga classes. I wasn't meant to do a second TTC, but once I met him, a voice inside me told me this man is not an ordinary yoga teacher. This person can give me the preparation I need to feel complete. I decided to take the 50 hours TTC according to my plans and money. Together we prepared our classes and the main topics I wanted to study deeply. He was so good to organize in a short period the whole schedule and put together different things and aspects of the yoga world. Studying his authentic yoga system was a new discovery every day. Every single page of his book gave to me a more clear and deep understanding of yoga path. With his method, I learned how to listen to my body, how to watch my body from inside, how to focus my mind and be in the present moment. Every day was so challenging and exciting. His strong personality, his determination and love for yoga gave to me a different point of view about many aspects of yoga. His yoga system includes old ways of teaching yoga, traditional yoga, a huge knowledge about different fields, a personal study and experience inside himself and outside, a constant research and work to improve his method day by day. His yoga system already includes many different yoga styles to give the entirety that a yoga student needs. He believes strongly in his students. He tries to understand his students and their goals to help them to achieve what they want in their life and be happy. During the TTC, he was giving me so much good advice about my studying and teaching in a direct and honest way that today I can say I feel more confident and strong to carry on creating something beautiful around me. I really feel blessed and grateful to have met Neil during my journey. Strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. In Neil words, this was a wonderful experience. Ishwara smiley face. Passion Yoga, Sans Palcro, Italy. Neil Kulkarni's Adhi Yoga has enriched my life two ways. First as a student and second as a teacher. As owner of an Italian yoga school, I organized 2 teacher trainings by Neil Kulkarni. Both trainings were very successful. After the training, all students attending the classes are now teaching too. In addition, yoga teachers who attended, like me, have improved our skills and are very happy with the results of the training. One characteristic of his courses that I really appreciated was the small size of the groups. Maximum number students 10. Everyone was guided in a very personal and unique way. Everyone could grow according to their capacity and abilities. I highly recommend this training to all the yoga institutes who want to take their yoga to a new level that includes traditional yoga, as well as scientific, systematic, and an all-inclusive approach applicable to the traditional and New Age students. Adhi Yoga, the authentic yoga system of Neil Kulkarni, is truly a great advancement in the field of teaching and study of yoga. Shanti Brancalini, date July 2014. Students from Italy. I feel, on this course we worked very little on feeling and listening to the body and on staying into the body, maybe this is called mind and body. Mostly we did physical exercises with the indication of focusing on one's body. I found the search for one's limitations with the purpose of overcoming them very interesting. I was fascinated by the vast knowledge of the philosophy and the history of yoga, but also intrigued by his ease and neutrality towards religions. I also appreciated his particular way of teaching, full of good-humored personal irony. Mattia. My experience with this authentic yoga teacher training holiday has been very, very good. As an experienced Pilates teacher, of over 20 years as well as other movements methods and physical therapy, I had a lot of confirmations from Neil's experience. I'm very happy about it and also about a lot of interesting new points of view I was able to come in contact with. However, the most important thing for me is to keep focusing on oneself, respecting one's own limitations and gradually try to overcome them. Trust in your creativity and smile with both your face and your mind. But first of all, thank you, Neil. George. I appreciated Neil's course very much. His approach is clear and direct. I think that I have had a lot of new ideas. It wasn't just a memorization of a series of body and mind exercises. It was a way to understand in a practical way what yoga can be. Not only a philosophy, but also a method to better understand ourselves, to improve and try to reach self-realization. The work with body and mind is the first step for a deeper work. Everybody in their life has their own time. Take that time to better understand what the real needs are. This is a great time. This was my first time. I feel well, more energetic, focused on finding my time to practice and teaching yoga. It will be useful for me and for others. Monica. This yoga teacher training has been one of the best things ever. It has been a great professional and personal self-growth experience. Neil was able to convey his method that brings to a continuous listening of oneself, focusing on one's goals, understanding one's own limitations and bringing out one's abilities. It's been a great gift to be able to live in contact with such a fantastic Indian teacher. I've been inspired by him and I thank him for the trust that he placed in me. Michaela. I feel really joyful about this experience. Every single time someone is going to live through an experience, certainly he has expectations. Today I know that the course, the people I met at the Alpe della Luna, my teacher Neil, they all gave me more than I ever could have imagined or expected. I'm happy. The days were busy, sometimes tiring, but with a balanced peace and most of all peaceful. Even though we all worked hard, I feel completely reborn, for some aspects even reset. This could be a new beginning. In love anything is possible. Michelangelo. Laura D'Amore, yoga teacher, Turin, Italy. I think the best thing about this training was meeting Neil. First of all because he is Indian and has a very, very deep knowledge of yoga. And he is able to share that passion. But he also lived many years in America and Europe, so he knows the Western culture. He is an aerospace engineer with a strong logic, but he is also happy to teach yoga. In Adhi Yoga you feel very welcome. No one forces you telling what to do from the top. We felt very welcome and we did not feel judged. Thanks to this yoga system. It was a human experience in the first place and a very deep yoga experience. Thanks to Neil. Date July 2013. Laura D'Amore. Fontmadhuria, Alpe della Luna, Italy. A fantastic experience with an extraordinary teacher, comprehensive and accurate in every aspect of the discipline of yoga. From more complex exercises, more subtle philosophical aspects, from the recitation of mantras to teaching techniques, step by step. Fantastic fellow students. Serious, generous, and friendly. Happy face. Date July 2013. Steph Latinowski, London, pediatric physiotherapist. From the moment I made contact with Neil to inquire about carrying out my further 300 Yoga Alliance RYT hours to complete my full 500, I knew that I had been blessed with the opportunity to learn something special. Neil's genuine care and compassion for his students was clear from the start, with full attention given to find out exactly what my interests were so that the goals of my training could be formulated appropriately. As a pediatric physiotherapist, I hoped to get as much experience as I could in yoga for children, disability, and general therapy. My hopes were fulfilled far beyond what I could have imagined. Neil made continuous efforts to organize as many learning opportunities for me as possible, including teaching at a number of schools for children of all ages, for special needs children and for deaf and dumb children. With the emphasis of Neil's teaching always based around actual practical teaching as opposed to just theory and demonstration, it allowed me to grow in my ability and in my confidence at a very fast rate. Neil has developed a number of fantastic teaching concepts, which has really made my approach far more effective. However, alongside this, he has also helped and encouraged me to nurture the development of my own independent style. Neil teaches through example, and his commitment to living a healthy, fulfilling, and happy life drastically changed the way I now think about so many of life's important principles. Not only did my knowledge on the true meaning and essence of yoga develop, but during this journey I also learned and found out so much about myself that has allowed me to maintain a strong focus on my life goals and how I am going to achieve them. It is Neil's ability to be not only a great teacher, but also a great friend that I will always remember. His continuous efforts towards ensuring optimum health and happiness for me is one of the many things that I will be forever grateful to him. I now look forward to sharing all that I have learned and telling Neil of all my progress, as it is so obvious that the development of his students is what interests him most and inspires him to continue what he does so commendably. Thank you, Neil, from the bottom of my heart for giving me the opportunity to study under your tuition. I can only encourage any others that may be looking for an authentic, thorough, practical, and most importantly spiritual teaching on yoga to do the same. Steph Latinowski, London, stephlat@hotmail.com, pediatric physiotherapist. London, UK. December 18, 2013. Steph Latinowski. Udyakumar Tevar, Mumbai, India. While learning from Neil sir, it was a great experience. Every time I visited for the class in Pune and while coming back to Mumbai, I can feel that positive energy and focused mindset in me, which reflected in my outlook towards life and yoga, even though I was tired in the process of traveling from Mumbai. There was n number of unresolved questions in regards to yoga. Thanks to Neil sir, I got a lot of answers in a right way, thus leading to confidence in the subject of yoga. The most likable part of his course is he makes you know different styles/school of yoga, which other school may not include in their course. OYS made me a good yoga student in terms approaching your own practice and how to handle a given class as a teacher. His course approach is to give according to the student's goal and level. He not only helps students in terms of his yoga studies, he understands the student's background, their culture, and guides them in life too, which is lacking in many institutes. We'll be continuing doing more workshops/courses in the future. For students who are dedicated and interested in learning yoga as a whole, he is the right person. Wished he was in Mumbai. Best wishes to Neil sir on his future ventures. Udyakumar Tevar, Mumbai, India. December 18, 2013. Udyakumar Tevar,